Beautiful, really beautiful. Both of you, sounds really great. In general, you guys are very together. It's well put together. It sounds great. I have two general thoughts, and then we can kind of like pick it apart as we go. The first being the idea of time, and I think it's not so much taking time, but I think I'll point out some details that will invite you to want to create space to point out more things I think you could notice. In general, for me, it feels it flows very nicely, but there are places I still think you could point out more surprises. There are many places it's, oh, we didn't think that was coming. Oh, we didn't think that was, but then in this performance, it feels a bit like, it happened, like, it's fine, like, you'll hear it, and I think you could point out those things more, yeah? And the second point is generally about sound. I think there's sometimes a perception around, I think it's easy, it's certainly in classical composers, Schubert, Mozart, even Beethoven to an extent, because they're very refined pieces, we want to not, we don't want to, but in general, I've found you could have more variety of depth in your sound, and it tends to float, and I think that's partly because, if I may make one observation, is when you come down, you tend to hold, so you're moving more this way, and so you get a little more on the surface rather than I think we could talk a little bit about how you could find more depth and layers in your sound too. Yeah. So those are the two things maybe we could work through. So why don't you start from the beginning? Maybe my first point about timing would be, for example, I'll just point out a few small details. Even the way he uses F sharps in the very beginning, right? So we have one. Now we have another one. Now we have another one. Another one. Yeah, even the way you bring those out, I think there are opportunity for you to take space if you'd like it. Yeah? You want to start again?
Sure.
I'm wondering, even as you start, is it possible the first few bars can be, it feels you start like we're off. Is it possible the first few bars can find itself and then you open the curtain for her to start? Yeah, so rather than start, it's more of a you're finding your way and then begin. Yeah? If you don't mind me making some contact, it's just a tiny bit in the shoulder wants to. It's a slight amount, but if you can at the change feel it leading from your upper half of your arm, so it comes this way rather than from this part down. Yeah, so that it's all one extension. Yeah, sounds great. One more time. Beautiful. I think it sounds, I don't know how it feels, but the sound feels better. Yeah, it sounds, I would encourage you, maybe we can just take this part a little more. At the turns, I still feel it wants to move forward before we've heard the shift. Even it's, that's great. Then here. There's a change. There's a change here. And the same with here. This is a new beginning. Yeah, there are just slight turns. It feels that if you can just bring them out a little bit, it would give us more curves to where we're going. Yeah? Maybe just right where you begin is okay. Beautiful, really nice, really nice. This one, I know it's a diminuendo, or a decrescendo, sorry. But can this still, that this still arrives to you two joining together, yeah, so that you invite him to da-da-da-dee-da-da-dee-da-da, pee-da-da, yeah, it's so that it doesn't go straight in again. There's a slight preparation so that you join together. Then the second time, we've heard it before, but there's another slight turn again. Yeah, sounds great. How about just from top E? I heard what you did, and I really like it. However, I would, just to slightly add an amendment, I wouldn't maybe dim so much on this. I understand you're trying to do the second one a little bit less. Great. But the surprise of the harmony is still 2 bars after that. Yeah, now that's a new one. So I think if you give it away too much, then you don't have quite as much room to continue, yeah? And even I wouldn't, yeah, because he has still one more, right? And then, now, this continues, yeah? Those are just small observations. Again, you can do the second one a little less, but I wouldn't lose the intensity of A minor, yeah? From da 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 da. Beautiful. Well, another. Sorry, I'm really nitpicking here because it sounds great. The same here. Then, even here we have stepwise. That's a fifth. If you just give enough time that we can hear every little detail, yeah, just so it doesn't pass us too quickly. Maybe from the second one. beautiful. And again, I'll just be on the same theme, I suppose. Where are we? Same thing. I hear you anticipating the next before we're there. Yeah. That's a surprise. The same here. Yeah, if you can just allow. The thing is, we as performers, we know the music, we know where it's headed, but you have to give us the impression that you have absolutely no idea what the next harmony is going to be. It's obviously crafted and it's planned, but it should be a surprise for us. At least you should give the illusion that, we should feel as a listener, oh, that's a surprise. Oh my God, how did that happen? And there should be that kind of discovery in as it goes, yeah. So that obviously you both know it very well. There's no question. But just so that as you've gone through, to still discover those little things that pop up, so that we hear them for the first time, because most of us probably are hearing it for the first time, yeah. Maybe from Sorry. It's a nitpick. Is it possible to start? I see you're starting more this way. Is it? It doesn't. You don't have to. But it's just a slight bit. Yes. Exactly. Yes. That will give you far more control at the frog. If you don't have to be this way, but at least rather than being this way. Yeah, because then this way we're more floating rather than. Yeah? From there again? Through again. Really good. I think keeping the sparkle, I could imagine as a little more dancing kind of sound. It's a little matter of fact. Yeah, it's even, you can, it's up for debate, but even accents in Schubert, in additions, they're all a bit different, but this one is very rare. Okay, in some editions, these become accents, but then oftentimes they're really just diminuendos. Yeah, and a lot of editions kind of iron that out so that in this case, they may just be pure accents. But to me, I don't hear them quite as sharp. Yeah, they could be, I think, a little more singing, these. And then afterward, I could imagine, and part of that is if you can keep the contact in the string, but then use little less pressure, and then that will give you the full range of possibilities, rather than either floating or sinking completely. But if you can have full control and let it flow, yeah, then you can sing through. And then one more small detail. Can you play this? Just this. Can you play the harmonies very slowly from 61? Maybe ba 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 da dee da 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 dee. Together. so now that one, that's a deceptive cadence. That's a surprise. That should have resolved differently, right? But we went to, exactly. Yeah, so another place, I wouldn't push all the way through. And here as well. I think there's still time. It feels a little, yeah, that's a huge lead. Yet again, these are another couple places I think you have a little more space to sing through, yeah? Maybe same spot 61, but now in tempo. So again, the da da di da 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 theme, it's how you arrive at the downbeat that feels a little bop. Yeah, da da di da 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 di. Yeah, that there's the dot. You can, I think the dot to me just means it's separate, not short. Da 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 ba di da di da 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 di da di. There's another breath there. That's how I see the dot. Yeah. Yeah, that one, it's actually, it was great up till it's just in the, it's what happens between the two notes that I wouldn't jump a, yeah, maybe just right from the, this could be diminuendos, again, the whole, I'm sure you've heard the whole decrescendo versus diminuendo thing, right? And in this case, he does have one, and I wouldn't connect them as much. Now, that's a newer. And those are in pianissimo, which I think is interesting too. I find those kind of cute, yeah, but oh, never mind, yeah. So I those are another couple small details. Again, I think a little time. Could be appropriate, yeah. How about from? Sorry, I'm gonna really nitpick this one. Still, the shift is quick. You can either show or I just wouldn't arrive too quickly, yeah? Great. I like your fingerings. Very bold fingerings. Nice. I know there's a rest, but what happens in the silence, I think, could. Yeah, these are. There's still, it's still longing, it still has a this. Yeah, and I see you retake on them, so it gives an impression that another one. Is there a way that this somber character can exist in the rest also? Yeah, so that. It acts, and again, I could hear it as rather than a sharp kind of accent, yeah? So in general, I think as well, this one has a little bit of tenderness that you can afford to breathe, yeah? Is it possible to stay even? Can you just stay in the upper half? And then you can use it up here if you want to get back. Yeah? Maybe from... Really good. You make it look very, very comfortable, which it's not. But this 2 verse 3, it feels very assured. I'm wondering, can that rhythmic dissonance make you find a kind of quality that is not nearly as easy? Yeah. Yeah, that's not quite a... Yeah, and I understand you crescendo into the C major, which I like that you bring out. But if you can save it slightly so that it's not... The whole thing I feel like should be existing in this kind of weird kind of haze where you're like, where are we harmonically? Yeah, C major, how do we get to C major? It should be more of a, to me, where are we? Yeah, rather than a we've arrived. Yeah, because then when you do arrive at the pi ba ba, then there's a heroism to it because we found our way through it. Yeah, so I would keep it. If you want to bring out now, now we've arrived. Yeah, let's just. So we can get through this. Remain from right from. Beautiful. My last thought would be that we're in this bizarre figuring out of where we are now. That F sharp is where the whole idea of it arriving there is we're back home, yeah? Yeah, so even the way you arrive can you find your most singing accent on that one as well? Yeah, so that, and I wouldn't give it up too much. There we are. Yeah, and sorry, one more thought is this. The hooking is great, but those are pretty big intervals too, yeah? I kind of like bringing that, but if you do it hooked, I would bring out there's pain in those intervals, yeah? So they're not, but there's something happening between them as well. So again, this is kind of in that theme of, I could imagine you have even more space to bring out intervals, things that you both find interesting, little turns. There's there's a lot of information in a movement that sounds very simple, but it's really, there's a lot happening underneath. And I think there's more space you both could bring out the little turns along the way. Yeah, so it doesn't just, music like Schubert isn't just pretty, right? There's a complexion to it that I think you could both discover further. Yeah? So, great. Sounds great. Beautiful. really fantastic. You make the piece sound very, very easy, which seemingly it is for you. So that is not a problem, obviously. I have one general thought, and I think it will apply and be pervasive throughout the movement. The movement is there's a grand heroism to it, no question, and there's something very exciting about that. What I notice is you tend to use a similar kind of combination to bring out that kind of excitement very often. And when you lean on that, it brings out there's a hardness, and sometimes it leans into aggression. This is what I hear. And that's a combination of a sharp attack and a very sustained kind of bow. And for certain things, it is great. There are places it needs that kind of power. But what I don't want to do is make it play less excitingly. Like, I think what we should do is, as we go, let's be really specific exactly what kind of excitement is it. Is it a grand excitement? Is it a kind of under the surface excitement? Is it a building excitement? There are so many shades of excitement that I think we can be specific, and I think you have the tools to do that. So I think you could be more intentional with exactly what kind of sound you want to use, because when you use a similar kind, it becomes a kind of effect in a way that it seems like, okay, when he wants it exciting, this is the way he's going to play it. And you could do way more, I think, clearly, because you're very comfortable on the instrument. Yeah? So that's my general thought. One small thing that's tied to that is, even physically, I mean, generally for students we revert too low, but there are times when you bring it up so high, it's not a bad thing, it's just, but on the high positions, you actually lose contact. I see when you do this, you actually don't have a flat plane to play on, yeah? And so, look, play big, and I don't want you to not do that. It's just there are places on the top notes, it's a few times when you arch back so much, it's as detrimental as this way, because you lose that kind of flat place that you can easily play it. I actually think you make it harder for yourself when you do this. Yeah, so I would be slightly wary of that, because on the high notes you lose the kind of depth, because your bow is not able to get into the string, because you're creating a uneven plane. Yeah, so that's a small thing related to it that I think is fixed easily. I don't even have to do it, but. Yeah, so why don't we go back and then let's be very intentional, even from the beginning. So let's start from there. What's the character, you think, of the very opening?
I think it's a bit like melancholic.
Oh, okay, I like it. I didn't quite get that. I'm wondering, can you really commit to that? Yeah, so I know, is it forte in the beginning?
Yeah, I think so.
Again, forte in character, yeah? The Dorset doesn't have that much after they clear it, so can you bring that out to it has an intensity, no question, but melancholic and sorrowful, great. Maybe try that more, yeah? And the dee-da-da-da-da, what's the character in that part?
It's building up an intensity there.
And building up intensity in what kind of character is
I
it?
think it's more angry and frustrated.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes, interesting. Okay, fair enough. Can you try it in a way that I think what could be more effective is you come out of the sorrowful quality, yeah? And when you build the G sharps, at least can you, what I hear is you build it beautifully, and then when you get to, it suddenly has this kind of strident quality to it that, again, I think it would be interesting. Can you save that kind of heroism to the end? Yeah, so if you come out of, can these accents be more, they give this kind of, we're going, and we arrive. Yeah, what I hear is there's like a switch, and you go, all right, forget that. It's time for me to rip it. Yeah, and don't lose that kind of, yeah, so in the pursuit of virtuosity, don't lose the specificity of character you already built. Yeah, So can you, again, from bottom towards spine. What's this one characterized?
I think it's like it has a key, I think it's more sentimental.
More sentimental.
Yeah.
Okay. Slightly more sentimental quality, I like. Can you find a vibrato that matches that? Yeah, so that the first time you had a more sorrowful kind of, if there's a remembering quality, yeah, I think it's a little too. I guess the way I conceptualize vibrato is you have a great vibrato, but as long as constantly your sound and your tone is led by your right hand, so that what happens if we get. The bow is flat, yeah, and non-specific, and then what we notice is always vibrating. Yeah, but if you can still keep whatever quality you're looking for in your bow and then color it with your left hand, it will be, I think, much more effective in that way, yeah? So that the vibrato doesn't, it's not just a constant effect, but it's more a shading of a character that you clearly have in mind. Yeah? Maybe just right from when you start is fine. Gets a bit into the aggressive side, yeah? I think there's a it can still be some yeah, so that it's not it's not a violin technique, but it's there's a vocal quality to it. Yes, even if in your head you're still singing through each, it can be intense. But there's still a spoken quality that keeps it from getting this kind of sound. Yeah? Even if it's intense, even if there's a pang of anger to it, that's all fine. But be careful how that manifests. Yeah? Just keep at it. Let's keep going to the next.
Next time.
Okay, I'm gonna start reading the first note. Well, what's the character of this one?
I think it's even more. It's very. I think it's a bit furious in a way.
Okay. Okay, this is what I would say. If that is the case, how about the very beginning when you start, you still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's a bubbling feeling of this kind of feeling, this has a hardness to it that to me also it doesn't give you any room to continue. Yeah, so there's three of them, yeah? And this continues and this you continue this is all somewhat transitional to get you going, and then you eventually arrive at the second theme. Yeah, so I wouldn't make it a hard kind of time. Yeah, even if there's a theory to it, can it still give you room to continue moving building forward, yeah? So even the way you start, you can have a front, yeah, but it has to have also an inflection. Yeah, so if it's, this has a kind of, but even the end, another thing is how it finishes, yeah? Is it yeah? Exactly. So even the way you release is one way that you can temper that, yeah? So again, I don't want to make you not play excitingly. That's not the point. And also when you play orchestra, it should have a, you know, a kind of nothing held back kind of feeling to it, for sure. But that's one way I think you could conceive it, yeah?
Yeah.
Somewhere right before? Sure. Bigger is if you can sync. This travels more than, yeah. I don't want you not to have front, but this has actually a resonance. What I'm missing is resonance. Yeah, what's happening is if you crush it to the point where the strings are vibrating this way, right? And if I push enough, it actually clamps it from resonating. Yeah, so you're just, again, it's slight, but it's just how you, it's not the start, it's the middle of the note. It has a kind of driving into this. If you can allow it to fling out, yeah, and I want you to travel to the end of the hall, but I think this is not going to quite be as optimal. Yeah, somewhere before.
Before what?
I guess it's all kind of building up. You can start anywhere. Sure. Even that one, right there. There's a yeah. What's the character of this one, you think?
It's like a longing.
I like that. What I'm missing is, again, I think it could be more specific. Yeah, there's a... But... If you want something long, I would first, your vibrato could speed up a slight bit. In general, we're similar in this way. We're both slightly on the wider end, just fine. But for example, that not everyone gets the same kind of, yeah? But if you want longing, yeah? That first of all, I would narrow it and then allow the tops to blossom in a way that you're still phrasing again with the right hand first, yeah? And the left hand just giving you slight coloring for tops of phrases or things you want to bring out, yeah? Right there is fine. Right on it. Okay. Yeah, for example, I wouldn't use you doing, yeah. enough room, in my opinion, if you start loud, the most here, yeah? So that if we're here, you don't give yourself enough room, yeah? There's like a moment that there's like a switch where you go from beautiful to, all right, now it's time for me. I'm gonna show everyone I'm gonna nail this. Yeah, and you don't need to. I think the still, even that technical passage is still can be created by still keeping a character. Yeah, there's still a recitative. There's a spoken quality that we don't want to get into as soon as you're out of that. From here, I said. Yeah, even these, it's not that I don't want it to be exciting, yeah, but what I'm noticing is there's a similar kind of trend whenever it's technical or it's exciting. Yeah. You tend to use a similar combination that then is noticeable, which I think in your case you're too good that we shouldn't notice habits. Yeah, it should be, oh, here's a quality, oh, here's something else, oh, here's something exciting. Yeah, there should be a narrative that I don't actually notice, okay, he's going to accent, he's going to sustain, and then he's going to do this when it's forte. Yeah, so careful that you're still in the mode of whatever character you're molding. You created something longing, and then it builds, I think even the fact that you came out of something longing makes the arrival of that forte qualities, it's affected by it, yeah? So it doesn't immediately change to time to nail this passage. Yeah, it's okay. What am I trying to say that I came out of that? Yeah. One more time from. How about from? It's just okay. Go from here. Yeah. You build something beautiful, it sticks out in a way that I hear like okay, here's where it's gonna get intense again. It's a different kind of forte, yeah. It's not back to heroism, but there's a peak, and then I would love if you could be more specific. Yeah, even if you could sit down and map out, okay, here's one character, one wave, okay, this one. Here's the next, what do I want? Yeah, you're too good to have those kinds of switches. I think you can be more seamless with how things connect. Yeah, so that, okay, here's an arc, here's another arc. What kind of excitement is it? Yeah. What kind of heroism am I bringing out? And so I think if you can be more specific, it will give you so much more dimension. And then when you want the climax of the movement to have this kind of bigness, it's so much more effective too. Because then we're like, wow, that is so exciting. But if it's every time you build, you actually lose the momentum of it. Like for example, maybe even if that you think is the biggest, great, or even before that, all the octaves. If you have moments of what you have is great. It's more just if you can diversify it in a way that you can use it specifically, then as an audience we're going to be even more excited when we do that. Yeah? Yeah. Sounds great.
Thank you.
very in sync. I can clearly tell what you guys talked about, decided. It's really great. My general thought would be that, one, I think we could be more specific with exactly, because this movement is so, it's so effervescent and it's constantly, you know, very exciting. We could have places we can exaggerate that, and places where there's more repose, there's more room to create a much further distance kind of feeling, I think will accentuate more little details that we can bring out. Yeah, because in general, this movement can get it's very easy for it to just kind of, it just flows for 10 minutes and then we're like, oh, we finished. Yeah, and so there are moments I think it could have more of sweep, and then places we can exaggerate, bringing out this kind of repose too. Yeah, even though obviously the bulk of the movement is in this agitato feeling. Yeah, but in general, basically what I was missing is there's more dimensions for, in terms of phrasing, how we can build and build and build so that the climax points are that much more dramatic. Yeah, because it's very easy for this whole movement just to get very exciting. Yeah, so if we can create more hierarchy, I think there are a few ways we can do that. We'll go through it. Yeah, even the very beginning, for example, if we go way back, a small detail. I'm curious what addition you're using actually. Maybe that will also explain it. No, okay. So, for example, da dee da da dee da 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 dee. Now we have da dee da da dee da dee. That's the answer to your two questions. Yeah. So that basically you have these two, and then you have one that is an objective response. Yeah. So that basically after, I wouldn't also da dee da dee da dee da da. Yeah. But instead, you pose a question, pose another one, and then now you descend back. Yeah, so now we hear 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and then that allows you to come in. Yeah, so that's one example of a place because it already has this built in, I wouldn't do these when it's not in. Yeah, or else the whole thing just becomes basically, yeah. One more time from the beginning. Yeah, is there a way with the bow you could exaggerate? Now. Yeah, as opposed to, and I would be careful. I hear. Yeah. Yeah, I basically, not to get stupid, this is going to apply in the whole movement. Yeah, but for a string player, I hear, then you have, yeah, but, yeah. To all of this, great. Can it have still, what I'm missing is that in the long notes in particular, it's a little too comfortable. Yeah. Even these, it feels too, but is there a way we can already be in this? There's an the agita's what I'm missing a little bit. It's both in the activity of the left hand for us, and it's how we use timing. Even, for example, one more comment I just remembered. You guys play so together. One thing I'm noticing is you're wanting to show the person. Is there once we can trust we don't have to, even physically, rather than, yeah, you guys are perfectly together. You don't need to. I would rely less on visuals and just allow the way you guys are leading or phrasing to guide sticking together. Yeah. So can we do from the beginning one more time? Even along. For example, I still feel I'm getting too many impulses. Yeah, I think there's too much. There's a kind of sweeping feeling that I think we could get more of. Even is there a way that and that all being one. Yeah, rather than yeah, I would allow the first chunks to let them go. Yeah, then there will be plenty of moments then that we'll talk about where you can expand. Yeah, but right now I'm getting, maybe it's a mix of trying to stay together, but if we can, I'm gonna have to go all the way back, but maybe could we do from your entrance, maybe? And still, I'm wondering, saving. Rather than, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
From your entrance, maybe? So pick up to bar, what is that, 17? Great, I wanted to hear it. Great, sounds great. Where we arrived, for example, this now does not have a hairpin, yeah? And splitting is fine, even it is in one, but now here's a place where I found it was a little, again, the idea of giving a lot of impulses is okay, but because it is in two, and there's a serenity to it. Obviously, it's still going, but rather than replicating the beginning, yeah. So we can avoid that, yeah. So that we get the contrast now in this second theme, yeah. Maybe you could get into, or you know what? Just maybe a couple bars before that. can we bring that da di da da ya da da di da da da? Again, this is a place where places that it has repose, I would let those be at peace, and then when he does give you markings, I do think you can bring them out more. Yeah? One more time? Before he writes it, yeah? Another place that we have a moment of time somewhat stopping in a sense, yeah? Da ti da ti da pi. Now, that's where we have to turn. Yeah, so I wouldn't give that up to, again, it's a place where when you have the moments of having this kind of, I wouldn't say it's static, but it has this kind of placid, kind of we're not heading anywhere yet. Yeah, and then we're going to be off very, very shortly. Yeah, but if you have those moments, I would bring them out even more. Yeah, can we do maybe 144? Be careful. This is my next point was about the articulation. Yeah, it's certainly exciting, but I would be careful with these dots. I know they're dots, but I think they're more markings of separation than they are. But yeah, so that we still have a direction and we're still building. Yeah, basically I think it gets a little army-like too soon. Yeah, I wouldn't lose this kind of Mendelssohnian scherzo quality. Yeah, so in general, this even in larger dynamics, if you can keep that kind of elevated feeling, I think it captures more of that quality. Yeah. Maybe 167 when violoncello enter. Da di da 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 di. This one, so just to avoid it being big for too long. First of all, one thing is, do you have dots in 181? Pick up to 181 for string. I think piano has a dot, right? Do you have dots? Curious. No, yeah, I wouldn't make them so short. Yeah. Yeah, I full quarters. Yeah. But more so. Just so it's different, one way that we can differentiate slightly is using timing for major climactic points, yeah? So that, again, harking back to our earlier point about it not just being headlong. Yeah, for example, pick up to 203 is an example. Or yeah, that's our final climax. Yeah, so I would bring out those slight points so that it doesn't just all become the same, yeah? Da, di, da, ya, ba, ba, bi. Again, so I wouldn't make them too, I wouldn't make them too short, so that there's still an end to the note. Yeah, da, ba, di, di, da, ya, ba, ba, bi, da, 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 and then da, 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 ya, ba, ba, di, ya, da, 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 ba, ba, ba. Then the final one you can really exaggerate. Yeah, just so we have slight differentiation. How about from 187 or 183? How's that? From the piano's descending thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one too. I don't mind the splitting, but if you're going to split, is it possible to keep, we've again arrived at a place where I think we can lose too much of these sweeps, yeah? Then we really bring that. For example, in yours, you could, wait, can I see what you have? I see, so your edition has it separate. Interesting. Well, you could explore if you want, just to keep, I think, just as many moments as you can find that don't keep bringing out each impulse. But if we can keep a longer, there is okay, yeah. But that's another example of, again, when we arrive at these moments of slight repose, if we can keep it from having these peaks and valleys too many times, yes? Just so we maintain some kind of longer vision, yes? Maybe from cello, from development, from that's 222. Is that right? Yeah, the fortepiano. Yeah, even in this one, is there a way that when we do have these can you find a freedom in it that isn't metronomical, but you're totally alone to craft it. I'll just give you an example of what I mean. So pick up to 254, for example. No. Yeah, again, the sweeping and then the very static kind of fall answer. Yeah, same thing. By the way, do you is there you're doing a ta da? Is that intentional or?
Yeah.
Oh, is there a reason you wanted to add a pickup?
It was just so that we could kind of indicate that we were to be together, but if it's not necessary.
Oh, I see. Well, I think it's okay gesture, but it sounds pa da 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 as opposed to p da da. I was just, maybe you can change just on F natural, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Last time, maybe can we just to get the sense of it, maybe from 238. section in particular, if you can really keep it in pianissimo, is that, or piano, I guess, for strings and right? This one was quite full. This could be the most Mendelssohn scherzo. It's like the one section we have this kind of Mendelssohn Scherzonian type of quality. Yeah, really, really in. And then you have. I think if you can keep that in pianissimo until 293 is where you guys have crescendo, right? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if you can keep it all the way until that, I think you can create far more. It's the one moment we have essentially pianist in this kind of, you know, Midsummer Night's Dream type of quality. Yeah. So I guess in general, my general thought would be if you all could experiment with exaggerating moments of where you have sweeping gestures, really exaggerating them either through the bow. In your case, to be more of a phrasing or a timing thing, and then when you have those moments of repose, really being very, very specific. He's very specific with when he has these and not. Yeah, and so if you can, that agitato feeling becomes that much more powerful if you're able to create moments where you create this kind of serenity, even though there's certainly something underneath. Yeah, so if you have that layered with this feeling, it creates a little more duality. This is kind of, it has that Schumann-esque kind of bipolar feeling of you have this character, then you have another character. Yeah, if you can juxtapose those even more vividly, especially through, if you both, all three of you are really specific with exploring the markings more specifically, I think it'll guide you more with that kind of feeling. Yeah? Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.